Welcome everybody to tonight's show. We have a special guest with us tonight, Little Red, and a very special guest with us tonight, Emma and Drew, of course myself too. Now what's going to happen tonight, guys, is Little Red's going to interview Emma for us, okay? But first I'm going to get Emma to tell us a little story in about a couple of minutes time once it fills up about where she stays. And it's a quick rundown because everybody watches my last video we did will know about your house. And do you want to say it to the chat, guys?
Hi everybody, I'm just going to quickly share us out there.
That's what I'm doing. I'm just going to share us all out and then we're going to
get it shared out.
No problem.
I'm going to tweet it.
Tweet.
Tweet. Guys in the chat. Share us out, guys, in the chat, please. I would appreciate that.
Because we can't rely on YouTube these days.
Yes, YouTube's not very good. YouTube is one of the... You ever find that with YouTube? They've not been notifying people lately. Video lives.
I honestly don't know what the problem is.
It's just YouTube at their best. And it's tweeted. There we go. So who's all in the chat before we start? We've got Shelley, we've got Misty Cat, Sunshine, what is that? Sunshine Editing. He loves his book. Misty Cat, Shelley again, Misty Cat. There's Gazzy's Adventures. That's one of my best friends there in the chat. He's a good friend. And Scottish Outlooker. Hey guys, we'll let it fill up and then we'll begin.
No problem.
So Drew, how's your day been? Well, we wait for this.
I've been quiet. I've just been really... It's Ostara today. Well, it was actually Ostara started in the 19th. So I've just really been concentrating on catching up with things I had to do for that. So...
Right. Oh, what's that? Robbie Socks and you and I. I'm just seeing them all speaking to each other in the old chat there. So Emma, it's been a while since you've been on the show.
Yeah, I think it was the end of last year, the last time I was on with you.
And what's happened since then?
There's been a few things that's happened. As I say, like it can be quiet sometimes and then it can all of a sudden just kick off. So it really just all depends, you know. The paranormal is unpredictable, and especially when you're living with it. So it's definitely an interesting thing to live with, but no, it's been fine. You know, we're so used to it at this stage. It's one of these things where I grew up with it. You know, my sister grew up with it, and my mum and dad kind of just learned to deal with it.
Well, without further ado, there's 20 people here, so we might as well start. So, Emma, would you like to tell us what's going to happen, guys? Is Emma's got to start telling us a wee bit about her house and that, and then I hand you over to the host of the night, not me, for a change. You don't have to look at me, not Drew, but our amazing Little Red. So without further ado, please, Emma, tell us a little bit about your house.
So Sharon Rectory is a very mysterious house. It's in Donegal in Ireland, and it has a very bloody history. It's in 1797 there was a double murder of the lady of the house and the Reverend Hamilton. He was a guest on the night, and the United Irishmen had it out for him, and they wanted to murder him. So for different reasons, there's a lot to do with history here, the United Irishmen. So there was a siege took place on the 2nd of March in 1797, and the United Irishmen shot through the windows and shot Mrs. Waller. She died later on that night. And then Reverend Hamilton, then he was took outside on the patio step and he was brutally murdered. So that was 2 murders took place on that particular day, and then obviously then, you know, through the centuries there's been other deaths that's occurred in the house, and there's been said that there's been suicides and just other, you know, abuse and things, you know. So there's a lot of history, and you know, with a house being as old as it is, there's probably a lot more than what we know. So we're just kind of we're going through the years and we're finding out more things. So it's really interesting to be part of that history now, and obviously us being opened about our paranormal experiences in the house, that's been kind of marked in history. So it's definitely an interesting story. My paranormal experiences started when I moved into the house with my parents whenever I was about maybe 6 years old. So I started to see the blue lady. She used to walk through my room at night, and she walked into my parents' room, and she was just seen by all of us on a regular basis. So that was kind of the first paranormal encounters we had in the house, and then gradually, just over the years, there was several more that kind of happened along the way. It just seemed to be the case where, you know, Mrs. Waller, we seemed to help her cross over, but her presence was always still there because she was a strong presence in the house. But she was at peace. She wasn't no longer kind of grounded in a sense, I suppose. Other, you know, things started to kind of happen then with other spirits in the house, especially whenever I moved into one particular area of the house, whenever I was a teenager, and I was tormented in it. It was just awful, really, really dark, kind of horrible presence that was there. You know, I started to really experience the bad things then. You know, I always sensed that there was something not good in the house since, you know, I was a young age. I never could really understand these feelings. It was only just whenever I actually kind of really embraced the paranormal and kind of started to research it and understand it for myself that I knew what we were dealing with. And obviously then, you know, we had, you know, different psychic mediums come in, and, you know, a few years ago then we started to get the paranormal investigators to come in, and they were picking up on things, and they were able to kind of clarify and kind of give us the, you know, the peace of mind of what was there. And then sometimes then they were scaring us by saying there was something that was more there than what we knew. So as I say, like, it's just been, it's, you know, it's good to kind of get that clarification with the paranormal teams, you know, to say that we're not going crazy, at least they're experiencing it. So it just kind of really started from there. So there's been loads has happened over the 23 years. You know, it's something that you really can kind of get through in an hour. So it's to say, like, there's
as I mean, you've been on TV. It was on the BBC.
That's right. It was on the BBC last month. So they just kind of went through the history of it and just a bit of our experiences. You know, we were kind of upset that they didn't kind of go into more detail on the experiences of us, because that's what everybody wanted to hear. But no, it was still good to kind of get on and get talking about the things that we've dealt with. Like, so yeah. In the future, we might get the chance to do it again.
So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I will introduce Little Red. She will give the interview tonight. So, Little Red, it's all yours. And you're muted.
Yeah, I know. My daughter was around me. Sorry. So, hi everybody. I'm Little Red. Let's see, what do you want me to explain? With the feelings and seeing things, definitely. God, I don't know how to explain things because it's like it just wows you. I'm trying to like say, like, with my abilities, I do have where I can feel things. Images that come to me that I was saying stuff and it was right on the spot. I don't know. I would say, but everything that's like paranormal and all that, yeah, definitely. It's not like lying or just to get attention. And what I picked up. Am I allowed to say what I picked up? Like,
yeah, of course, you can say what you want, but you picked up. It's Emma, do you allow us to say but Little Red picked up on you?
Do you have abilities then, Little Red? Do you like to explain about your abilities?
Yeah. My first ability when I started doing the paranormal, I just couldn't figure out I call it the spirits' dirty work. I do their dirty work because I dream things, and I didn't understand it first. So at the beginning, I was seeing people die. There was like a guy who was railroad takes his life, car going through a house, and I was writing this stuff down. And then when I wake up 8 hours later, bam, it's written. You know, I look it up and like, okay, is this true? And it'd be 8 hours after, and it's like right there. I'm like, I just dreamt that. So I figured out I can help these people. So I'm like literally in their body. So it's like almost like I'm asleep in my hometown, but I could be in Australia with this one person, and I could be in their head, and I'm looking, you know, I'm their eyes, and I'm looking stuff. And it feels like after I figured that out and help it, the spirits give me stuff because I knew my ex-sister-in-law was pregnant before she told anybody. I already knew that. And then she was saying that she was having a girl. I'm like, no, you're having a boy. Found out it was a boy. And it was just like, they'll help me with things and like, you know, telling me stuff. I am an empath. So I do have feelings. Sometimes I hate it. When I go to the store, I can only stay for 5 minutes. I'm picking up somebody's anxiety. Yeah, it was fun. And I could be in live streams too, and I'll be sitting in the panel. I'm like, oh, I gotta go. And it was like somebody.
Well, we're all happy here, so you'll be fine.
Yeah, right. Well, no, it was they were doing spirit box, and I was in their live stream, and they had a panel, and I'm like, someone's having a really bad day of anxiety, and I'm like trying to breathe. I'm like, and I wrote them in private. I'm like, I'm sorry, I gotta dip out, and I was gone. Like, I didn't say bye to the chat. I was like, dipped out and gone. And they were like, are you okay? I'm like, someone's got anxiety, and someone did. And it's like, you guys, you gotta. I'm like, you gotta fucking breathe. I'm like, you're killing me, and it's not.
So your emotions.
So I cry and I have outbursts. I'm like, this is not me, because I feel it. And I'm like, I'm not on medication for it.
It's
So you're
amazing.
sensitive too, then?
It's amazing. I mean, when I told Little Red about Emma, she was picking things up. So why don't you start at the start, Little Red, and tell the audience and tell Emma what you felt.
Well, the one thing is a sickening feeling. And that was weird. I'm like, and I wasn't sick. I'm like, I'm fine. Like, I'm refreshed. I had that. Seeing things as like praying hands. That there was one thing. There was a person behind a chair, and then there was one beside it, and then like I was saying, there was a wise man. Mm-hmm. So it was a Amish. So if you guys ever like see, the Amish do have wise men. Then the whole, is there a well around, and then about bones being in the well. Yeah. So, and there is good spirits around, and there are bad. So, but it's, like I said, it's like, oh my God, I don't know how you stay there. I sleep at people's houses. So it's, you have a lot of protection. Like I said, behind you, there is a woman in brown hair that is protecting you.
Yes.
So don't think that you're alone and you have nobody protecting you, because I'm thinking if they weren't protecting you, it could be a whole lot worse.
Right.
Yes.
So
of course.
even though it's a little bit, they can only handle so much. So yeah, it could be where you, like, I've been to a house that I was pushed, and it could have been worse. It could have broke my ankle and all that. So that's just saying, like with you, you could have been pushed down the stairs and break your leg or anything. Mm-hmm. So just the little things, they're weak and you're being protected, because they could be stronger, and you don't want that.
Well,
of course.
If Emma wants to talk about like things, obviously I can't bring up things, but if you want to talk about things like, say, images and things like that, then we can, well, Red can talk about you with that, obviously.
Can you repeat that? Sorry.
Oh, there's been loads over the years. You know, we've caught loads of evidence. You know, that was really interesting. For the likes of us, we're not walking around the house taking pictures to try and catch something paranormal. It was really only kind of through paranormal teams that came into the house, and they caught things, you know, videos or, you know, through evidence from pictures or EVPs. That was really kind of the clarification that we needed, you know, that there was something paranormal there. And then there's been teams that came in and hasn't had any activity, you know, so it just really depends on the night, and depends who it is and how, you know, I suppose the paranormal is approached, whether or not you're going to catch evidence, you know, or not. And I just think that definitely the spirits in Sharon Rectory need to be respected. That's one thing. I know that, you know, if there was any kind of, you know, anything that was going to aggravate them, that's when they were going to lash back. So so it's to say, like, it's a learning curve for us, you know. At the very start, whenever teams was coming in, you know, we didn't really kind of know what way to kind of you know, approach it. We were just kind of learning with them. So it's just through the years there's been a lot, you know. There's been some great things that we did get. As I say, Chris, probably one of Chris's favorites is the one that was in the tree, the dress that we found that was in the tree. That's one of your favorites, you keep telling me. So yeah, that was really interesting, that one. Now the story behind that particular photo was that was actually caught on my CCTV. Now, I didn't know at the time, because I was just looking through my gallery on my phone, and sometimes the cameras would have took still shots, and I noticed then that there was something in the still shot that wasn't in any other kind of still shots, and I went to zoom in and it looked to be like the dress kind of hanging in the tree, which was really freaky, because when I went on then to the live, the cameras in the CCTV live, I couldn't see anything, so that was disturbing. And then I kind of over the time then that, you know, things started to happen, especially with the burns in my neck. Do you know, I was getting burns in my neck from in here, and it just for no reason. It's not like that I said anything or done anything to cause the attack to happen. It just happened. You know, there's no reason behind it. So it just can be completely random sometimes. As I say, like whenever I looked at the mark, I took a picture of it from behind, and I was trying to look in the mirror and I couldn't really see it because it was just on the kind of the bridge of my neck. And when I look back, then it kind of looked to be like a rope burn. So I'm thinking to myself, I wonder if this is connected to the whatever was hanging in the tree, if it was somebody that was actually hung outside in the trees, and was it connected? So I was trying to think of a theory for it behind it, or what was the cause behind it, and that was kind of one of the you know, what I discussed with Kate, my good friend, like, and you know, that's what we kind of came up with. It maybe it was her that was actually trying to kind of, you know, give me a wee kind of hint that she was there and she was around. So, you know, and I just say, like, I don't know if it was a sinister kind of attack that she gave me, or if it was meaning that to say like it was just her reaching out and her way of kind of, you know, letting me know she's there.
Died or something, maybe.
Well, I was going to say, Little Red, if you want Little Red, and if we're allowed to show the image, she could share.
Yeah, no, I have no problem with you showing the image.
I did this on my pad. I can't, because we need permission before, because of the confidentiality thing with children and stuff like that.
Yeah. Of course.
Little Red, can you bring that up for us?
I have the email myself. Let me see if I can bring it up. But yeah, like I was telling Chris, I'll say, with the stuff, I was hearing chanting, and I just couldn't get it in my head. And I'm at my son's football practice, and I'm like, get out of my head. So,
Well, Red, could you bring up, because I can't do it with my iPad, could you bring up that image?
I'm just thinking, Little Red, whether you're saying about the chanting, I wonder if that would have been maybe kind of an echo in time from the United Irishmen, whenever they were coming and they were like shouting for Hamilton. Do you know, could that have been kind of what you're picking up on? That's what I'm just thinking.
It wasn't like a wise man or medicine man. It was definitely like female chanting.
Okay, right. All right. I'm just thinking maybe I wonder would it have been maybe the United Irishmen that you were hearing or something, you know, because that would be really interesting. That would be kind of...
What was the chanting like? What was the chanting like? What did it sound like?
It was just like female chanting, very low, not angry. I want to call it like it's almost like a kind of like a rain dance kind of thing. That makes sense. So it just kept on going on, and I'm like, I was trying to figure it out, like, what are they trying to say? I couldn't hear what they were saying, but
it makes you wonder. I mean, if that person that was hung, if she was, I mean, when do you think it was? 200-300 years ago? Round about then?
Oh, well, what it could be, I really don't know. It could have been maybe before the house was even built, because that area, this whole area, could have been, you know, it would have been kind of forest kind of ground then, you know, it would have been kind of farmland, and I'd say there'd been a lot of trees about. So I'd say it could be maybe a time, maybe in the pagan times. You never know. It's really hard to. Yeah.
What do you think, Drew? What do you think about this? Well,
I think it could. I think it's possible before the house was built, if it's been chanting, because that mere sounds like it's been like spirits on the land. It's maybe just been even singing or whatever, you know. So it's definitely maybe before the house has been built.
Yeah.
See, it could be if it was pagan or it was Wiccan. I don't know. I don't know anything about Wicca, right? I don't know anything. Obviously, I know Drew's into Wicca, but that's about it. And do they chant? Do they chant spells? It makes you wonder.
There's like incantations and things that you kind of chant, like oh la la la, that type of thing, where it's like actual spells that you're saying, but to make it more powerful, you kind of sing it into a chant.
Yeah.
But I definitely, so that sounds more maybe before the house was built.
I mean, on that image itself, you can clearly see the whatever it is entity is wearing. What do you call them? That you got the nightgowns or
a robe?
No, it's kind of.
It was like a kind of. It's like a. it's like a material. It's like a dress or something. It looked to me like
it's
it was.
the fine linen. Like
Mm,
linen.
Like, could have been a funeral clothes.
It looked like
Yeah.
a really, really old kind of nightgown. That's what it looked like. Really old kind of night, in the nightdress kind of
Yeah,
thing.
I've got the theory that a lot of these spirits appear in white dresses is because typically that's what they get buried in. Way
Yeah.
back when, you get in your like Sunday best dress or like a white robe,
Well,
that
well,
type
and
of
also,
thing.
also in like the 1700s, 1800s, wearing a white dress is purity. So
Right.
they want to be pure before they pass on and go to the next world or anything. What picture did you want me to show first?
It was the only one because the other ones are kind of private. We don't want the other one showing. But the one with it looks like they're hanging from the tree. The one in the garden.
Yep.
There's somebody asking how old your house is,
Yeah.
Emma.
The house was built in 1775. It actually took over 15 years to build. So I'm told. So it's really old. It's over 240 years old. So it's, as I say, like there's so much history within that time, before, even with the Wallers and then after the Wallers, and I think the most recent death to take place in the house happened in, I think it was the early 1930s.
Right.
It was just a lady passed away in the house while she was giving birth. And that was very sad.
Thanks a lot.
So
All right.
yeah.
And there it's there, ladies and gentlemen. Amazing.
Definitely looks like a white dress, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's freaky, that one now. And it's just a pity I couldn't get, like a live, it was only a live kind of, or the picture that it sent, it wasn't like a live
See why you
video
think
kind of
that she's
recording or
hanging?
anything.
Yeah, she's
Isn't it?
definitely
It's
hanging to the tree.
It's
It's
hanging
absolutely amazing.
it's like there's no real branch that's kind of around there. It's kind of like floating in
Right.
midair.
She could have
So
been
it's really
thermal.
weird.
I mean, that's one of the best footages things in camera I've ever seen.
Definitely.
I've ever seen anything like that. I mean, what do you think,
And
Little
as I
Red?
say,
What do you
like,
think about it?
are you picking up anything from that picture?
Well, when he,
That's
like
what I was
I
thinking.
said, that's where I think it's chanted. But if you also look at the tree, it looks like there's a face there kind of watching.
Right.
Can
So
you
it's
zoom
not-
up in that?
That's all that's not far I can zoom. But like right here. I don't know how light my things I can you can see my mouse. But
And
That's like a
see
face.
around that area, see just right behind that, like a few feet behind that, that's where actually Reverend Hamilton was dragged out and murdered on that side of the house.
Right.
So that's that area. So it's like, I always say that outside the house is nearly as active as inside, because there's a lot that's that people's seen outside the house, not just us, people that's local around our town. That's before the house was bought by my parents and renovated. The house would have been kind of abandoned for a long time, so people would have came up and knew about the stories and heard the house is haunted, and they wanted to see something for themselves, like, and a lot of people did actually see things. And whenever my parents were opened about their experiences, then people would have said to them, yeah, well, I've seen something too, and this is what I've seen. And
Yes.
yeah, it was
What do you?
it's definitely
What do
weird.
you get? What do you get, Little Red, when you look at that picture? What do you feel?
well, like I said, it was like the chanting, and you were saying there was people hung. I'm like, well, that kind of makes sense. But it was just like sadness. Like I really felt what the person felt. Like it wasn't their fault. It was a mistake. See, I don't try to use all my cards if you're answering.
It's
But it was just like I believe the person, like if it was witches where they hung them, it was she wasn't one, and they got the wrong person. This sadness.
Yeah, she was kind of misunderstood.
Right, and then, like I said, there's a spirit right at the tree, and it's like peekaboo on the side. So you see the circle, so there's a left, and there's a man right there.
Right.
My
I
mouse
never
won't go
noticed
that
that.
far.
I never picked that up.
My mouse doesn't go that far.
It's really interesting.
It's amazing. I'll remember that for the rest
Makes
of
you
my days.
wonder, doesn't it?
I'll take it down now. But
The Did you want the one that you had circled that you had closed?
You have to.
Yeah, do you want to show the
photos.
picture? Yeah, no. If you want to show, as I say, like I can't remember because there's that many pictures and stuff. Yeah, the one with the as Little Red said, the wise man and the cellar that was caught during a paranormal
Are you want me to show you the wise man?
investigation. Yeah,
Okay.
that was really freaky whenever we were sent that picture then, you know, because it was like the cellar is complete darkness, you know, when you're down there you can't see your hand in front of your face, it's that dark. And they were snapping pictures and stuff and they caught that picture, you know. Amazing. And it's really clear that you can see he looks like he's got a hat on with a really big bushy
long
beard. So it's yeah. So and then to know that it's the wise man, you know, that's interesting, like, because we didn't really know who he was.
It's weird how Little Red's pointed out the Amish, because it does look like he has got some kind of hat that comes out a wee bit, like a flat, like the blue bear.
Like I've never heard of any Amish being around this part of Donegal.
Maybe
I really don't know.
Maybe they're just not called Amish in Ireland. They're maybe just called like I don't know. Maybe
could be called maybe a different name. I really don't know. As I say, like Amish wouldn't have really been anything you know that I would have heard of around this part of Donegal, if anything, you know. So, but no, it's really interesting now that picture now.
Lucy Drox is in the chat, guys. Hey.
Hi.
Hi, Lucia.
That's
so yeah, like there's the beard and the Amish thing, and that's like the Amish hat right there.
Yeah.
It's
and you can see his nose and his eyes. You know, it's a clear kind of features that he's got. You know, with his eyes and nose. You know, and the beard. Like,
it's pure traditional Irishman, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's one thing you can call him. I say, but he looks to be like it could have been a farmer around, you know, around Sharon at the time, you know, because there would have been a lot of people that would have even a caretaker. There would have been a lot of caretakers around Sharon at the time, like, you know, whenever there was, you know, the reverends lived there, you know. So
this is going to sound strange, but do you know what the hat looks like he's got on? It looks like one of these old-fashioned flat caps.
It does, doesn't it? Like an old grandpa hat.
So are we all talking?
Actually.
I looked up when did the Amish start, and it says although the first Amish arrived in America in the mid-1700s, the European Anabaptist movement began well before that. In 1525, as a racial wing of the Protestant Reformation. So the Amish started in like the 1500s, and they came to America in the 1700s. So if they were over in your area before they became over here.
Yeah.
That makes sense with it being something before the house was built then.
That's an amazing photo.
I'd say that there is a lot of spirits, so there is a lot of you know, entities and things that is definitely here long before the house was built. There's no doubt about that. I'm definitely, you know, especially with the fairy trees and things that's around Sharon.
How big is that land, Emma?
There would have been hundreds of acres belonging to Sharon whenever Sharon was a rectory, you know, back in the 1700s, late 1700s. There would have been hundreds of acres around it. That was sold off then just to different farmers just around, you know, through the years around the property. Currently there's 5 acres around the house now at the minute. I'd say it probably sits on 7 acres altogether, including the house. So it's quite still a large
land,
large bit of land and ground around it, you know. So
I think Little Red's right. I think it is an Amish or some kind.
Like the Irish form of Amish anyway.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Amish wise men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, definitely, it's interesting.
It is. It's
there was another picture then. I think just when you're talking about the guy with a flat cap, and there was another picture that I sent you, Chris, of you know, in the archway, where you can see kind of an apparition of like a guy wearing a flat cap, and it's kind of the side profile of anything you can see. That was caught. That was actually during the very first investigation that was ever on the property. The guys were taking pictures outside of their team, and when they zoomed in, they spotted in the archway then this, you know,
was
this
that the one in
figure.
the garden? Is that the one?
Yeah, outside. It's outside. It's in, you know, as you're going into the archway, just into the courtyard. There's a zoomed in picture.
Let me see.
That
I'll
was
look it up now.
that was, we think, he was the caretaker of Sharon Rectory. I do believe that was him. That's the guy that I seen as a child. He used to walk the grounds. I talk about him in my book, you know, about seeing him.
It's no the
that
one,
was definitely a memorable thing for me.
It's not the one with the arrow pointing to it, is it? The red arrow.
Yes, that's it. Yeah.
You're right, because
Yeah.
I'll send it to. Little, and this is the one she wants up. I'll send it to you. Right, just give 2 secs. There you go. You should have that now.
Well, you're gonna take after now. See what
I'll need to learn how to share pictures.
I can't do it.
I don't know how to do it.
I'll need a little to train me how to use it. But listen, there's
hi, Sheriff.
Hey, Sheriff. I mean, that photo, the one with the red arrow pointing to it, is
intriguing.
Yeah, it's quite good too. As I say, like he must have just been moving or walking within that time, and this was caught during the day. This was during the day, and it was during the day whenever I seen him as a child. So I'd say he's very active, you know, throughout the day, more so, you know, in the day rather than he is at night. But the time,
that's probably when he did his most activity when he was alive, was during the day. So that makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does make sense. You know, whenever I spotted him, I was walking down the back laneway, and I was playing outside. I was a very outdoor child, loved the outdoors, and I came across this man, and just walking down the lane, and it was freaky.
Wow, I bet it was.
I can see it when you bring it
it's
up.
The kids.
Sorry, Chris. No,
is your kids duplicated anything that you've seen, Emma? Like you're saying that you walked down the lane and you the man. Has your kids been experiencing things like that?
Thanks, Lucy.
Yeah, my kids do. My kids do. They do pick up things that they do say to me, but I don't. I'm kind of trying to take the same approach as my parents took. That's the guy. That's the.
Wow.
No, so I'm trying to take the same approach as my parents took. You know, I don't want to have the boys scared living here. We try and kind of, you know, keep it in a sense. And my eldest boy, he's very switched on. Like he would turn around and he would say, you know, so there is ghosts in the house. You know, he does say to me, you know, and it seems to be like, I just try and not really kind of talk to him about it in depth. Like,
try not to scare him.
You know. I don't want to change the subject. Yeah, you just try and change the subject, but I don't think he's really kind of ever had a really bad experience or really scary experience. It would have been my youngest boy now had a bit of a scary experience, like so. He must have been, I can't remember now. It was coming on in 2019. It was coming on to Halloween, and my partner was working away at the time, and. My wee boy, youngest boy, was like jumping on the sofa. It's dark outside, and he spotted something outside the window in the room. And I knew that he seen something because it was the way his eyes kind of directed to it. And he kind of, you know, I seen his wee face. He was a wee bit shocked. And he says to me, "Who's that standing outside?" And I says to him, I was like, "Who you on about? Who's outside?" And I was actually scared to look myself because I thought, "What is he actually seeing out there?" Whenever you look out, it was complete darkness. It's complete darkness, like. And I couldn't see anything. And he says that there was a face that was right up, and it had like pointy teeth and sharp teeth or sharp claws, and it was like scratching the window. And a couple of weeks before, my sister actually had a really bad dream, and she actually dreamt of the same thing as what Jonah described. And she drew the picture of it, and I was kind of freaked out then whenever my wee boys had talked about it then to me, because I was like, he must have seen something because he never knew about, you know, the picture that Victoria drew.
Too much a coincidence.
So it was too much of a coincidence to him to describe the exact same thing to me, you know. So that was another freaky kind of thing to happen.
Definitely.
Thanks. I've just got to say thanks to Lucid for coming in and checking us out, and catch you later.
Okay, Lucid, catch you soon.
What do you think, Little Red, about that picture? What do you see there?
Well, first I was like, is that a dragonfly? I have to admit, because it was like like a kind of dragonfly, and then I had to look more, and it's like it's almost like it was trying to manifest as much as it could. So, and like I said, if you think of the Amish, I'm sorry, with the bonnet. No, with the Amish.
It does look the hood with the hood up.
Well, it's a hood. It's a bonnet. The Amish little girls would have bonnets.
It does
And she's got a cloak on, like a shawl.
It
looks like a shawl she's got over her shoulders.
It's like one of the.
No, I definitely do. I do think this is a male. This is the male that I seen. This is definitely. I don't think this is a female. I definitely do think that particular spirit that was caught that's the guy that I seen.
Was there any monks everywhere in the property?
Monks? There was somebody actually said that to me one other time too. Now we did. I don't know if I actually have the picture of it or if I sent it to you, but I think we did actually capture like a hooded figure that was in the cellar actually downstairs. I do think we caught. Yeah, it does make me wonder. I actually got a jolt of I don't know. It was really hard. It was like a jolt went through my body there, and I don't know what it was. What happened just right now? I don't know what happened. When I mentioned monk, it was like a jolt went straight through my body. It was horrible.
Oh no! Oh dear!
See, looking at it, it looks like one of the monks. It looks like a monk. I know it might be the Amish, but what I'm saying is, it does look like a monk, doesn't it? See how being a rectory might have some ties to. Well, obviously, maybe monks have visited, or maybe when the place was getting built.
It could be, yeah. It's a possibility.
It does look like a
I don't know what it was. Yeah, it's just it's not the first time that I've heard that where somebody's actually says to me about monks on the property. So it's definitely a possibility.
Well, the chances are there was probably monks there at some point to help set things up and maybe day classes or whatever. You just don't know.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's an amazing photograph, isn't it?
Yeah, I like that. I like that picture now, but I do think that it's definitely from what I experienced outside, and the man that I was talking about, and he had a hat on and a black coat, and I do think that that's probably him, because that would have been kind of his,
like a hunter's hat or something,
walking around. Yeah, like a cap kind of. So I do think we think his name is Barney, and he would have been linked to the time of the Wallers. So he would have had a lot of duties around Sharon, around outside and inside. He would have John Waller, the reverend of the house. He would have helped him a lot, because John Waller was paralysed, so he he needed a lot of help. So he was one of his helpers too,
I was just going to ask, Little Red, do you sense anything that you've not said yet, Little Red, about the property?
The left side of the head. Something.
Especially when you got really that jolt there.
Right.
Yeah,
that's interesting. So you're sensing something.
Side, the left side being hit for something heavy. Something happened.
Yeah. Well, Mrs. Waller was shot, and she was shot in the ear.
Yeah. Oh yeah, see, and
she was shot in the ear. Could have been that.
Wow. It could be a young, and it could be a young. Like I said, with the Amish, the little girls had the bonnets, and it could make sense that they're trying to manifest as a child with the bonnet showing you, and when that shot in the ear, it's like the left side being hit. There we go, connector.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And she feels that she wants to show herself to you. Yeah.
What was that? That was with the United Irishman. They
shot
them.
With ribbons on them. Mm-hmm.
That was at the battle, wasn't it? When
she was shot in the ear. So that's interesting that you're picking up on that kind of pressure on the side of the head.
That's actually quite spooky. That is, isn't it? It's amazing. I mean, wow. I mean,
candles are going crazy as well at the back.
I know, that's what we're talking tonight.
The candle has been, and there's no breeze, there's no doors open, there's no windows open, but I noticed that it's just one particular candle is like kind of flickering, and it's like, so I was saying to Chris, it's kind of burned away down, so it's like, it can't even really get at the air, so it's
exactly,
it's just that one particular candle, it's burning, and it's flickering. Yeah.
Well, when she first got in, I'm looking, I'm like, you know, you have a woman with brown hair above the books, and that like candle middle is flickering, and all the other ones. And she goes, really? And she's looking, and she's like, yeah, it's right there. It's like when people pop up, it's like, oh, who's that?
Yeah. I don't sense anything bad around me. It was only just that moment, that time, where I felt like it was just kind of a jolt through my body of energy, and it was strange. It was a weird feeling, but it was
And
by the
then
time we were
you
talking
said
about
the
monks, so
I can see something
so
like
it's
that.
weird. So maybe it could be.
What you saying, Chris?
It could be a family member, like I told
I
you
think
that.
it is. I think it is.
Like, yeah, if you had someone pass away with brown hair, because usually they'll come around you and just be like, you have all this stuff going on in the house. Your family members or spirit guides are gonna. She popped out. It's gonna be there.
So Emma, what does the future hold for your home? You can tell us about it if you want.
Well, there's what I was to say. Like I would love to bring out another book on just our current,
Yes.
what we've experienced from when the book ended till whenever I end this book.
Yeah,
I'm currently
read
still
it.
living it.
Guys, honestly,
Please.
I'm currently still living the second book, so it won't be out anytime soon. So it's as I say, like
you start
we're just
taking notes.
yeah. Oh no, I always take notes all the time. It's one thing when things happen, it's I jot it down, and we can kind of fill in the blanks in between of what we think it is happened at the time, or so it's,
It'll be interesting
yeah.
because you've been in the house when you were a young kid, so it'll be interesting to see your perspective of the second book right through to your adulthood,
Yes,
and then
because
your kids maybe duplicating that.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it's one thing with Sharon Rectory. It's like you could write hundreds of books on just the story alone with a history.
Right.
If you knew the story, if you knew the full history, there's definitely a lot there. And then, as I say, like I'm only just taking my experiences out of it and kind of jotting down my family's experiences and what we deal on the daily and Sharon. So,
I know.
but as I say, like there's a lot that we are getting somebody to come in and actually help and kind of at least try and calm whatever negative is here, whatever or banish it, or
that's
to me,
the worrying part, isn't it? Because all there's good spirits there that you want to stay and you would like to have more interaction with, but then again there's this bad spirit that keeps manifesting itself and turning up, so that's the worrying part.
I do think that when you do get rid of the bad spirit, I think things are going to be. I think you're going to see a lot more stuff.
We'll probably see a lot more of the human spirits is there, and a lot of people do say, have you tried to get rid of the human spirits? So one thing I have to say is human spirits will have free will, so if they want to stay, they'll stay. If they don't want to stay, they'll go. So it's not like we're holding them here for the sake of holding them here. We've tried to get them to pass over, and there's just spirits that just are not ready to
go.
They don't want to go.
They're just happy staying with you and your family.
See, at the end of the day, we have to respect that it was their home before it was ours. So we're just kind of taking it as it is, and you can shy away from it.
I'll deal into the book.
What's that you were going to say, Little Red?
I was saying, you trying to get them passed over. Some spirits are already passed over, and they're here for a reason. Because I've seen spirits that are blue. That means they've passed over. Because I have dreams and they're glowing blue, so they already passed over. They're just here for a reason. If they're gray, then yeah, they're stuck. So don't think, I'm trying to cross them over, because they've probably already been crossed over. They're just here for some reason. We'll never know. And they can go back
whenever I started to see my first my encounter with my first spirit and Sharon, she appeared blue, but whenever we did have Kate come in, and she'd done the seance and stuff to try and communicate better with her, because she was appearing to us nightly, and it was kind of like she was reaching out for help. And this was the spirit of Sarah Waller. This is what we discovered, when Kate came, and was able to kind of help us understand better what was going on. But she was appearing blue now, and she was grounded. She was stuck. She was kind of like, I don't think she could kind of really accept what had happened to her. And that was kind of what we were picking up with her. And then the seance, then whenever that happened, we Kate did did feel that she was at peace. She was more at peace then. You know, she was able to kind of like, you know, leave and not kind of still be stuck here. But you know, she's still around, Sharon. You know, there's times we still feel her. She's been seen, you know, a few years ago too, like, so she still sticks around. And as Little Red says, like, you know, them spirits could come back for a reason, maybe for the reason of, you know, if there's an illness in the house, or if we're kind of feeling under the weather, or if there's something kind of big happening, them spirits kind of are here, and they're, you know, the good spirits are here then during them
Right.
times.
Just to show support, maybe.
There's a
Yeah,
couple
to
of
kind
people
of
in
be there
chat.
for us. Yeah.
There's a couple of people in chat. Where can you get the book? Well, it's Amazon, isn't it? It's
Yeah, it's available on Amazon, and it's available on Kindle, sorry, and it's name of it is The Haunting of Sharon Rectory. So
and the link will be
yeah,
in video once
It really is a
uploads.
good book, guys. You have to read
Yes.
it. It's got a lot of experiences that Emma had as a kid growing up, and then you'll understand why she's got such a connection to the house.
And yeah,
It's
if
really
you're writing down,
interesting.
if you're writing down like things that you're going, it could be a timeline. So always have that thought. It could be a timeline. Go, something might be like you got to move things, but writing it down, it could be, like I said, a timeline they're trying to tell you, because some spirits, they can only take so much, and then they're tired.
Right.
Yes, of course. No, it's as I say, like, I definitely would do a follow-on book of just from where it ended.
When I read the book, the most worrying part I felt was the wee flat. Remember with the back staircase? That's the bit that I thought was the most worrying part about the house.
Yes,
that
and
back
nobody
staircase.
nobody actually stays in that part of the house now. You know, my sister would use, you know, for her work, you know, or her social media kind of for pictures and stuff. She would use that particular room now for that. So the bed, there's no bed, there's nothing in it anymore. You know, it just is it's too oppressive. It's just a nasty part of the house that whatever is in there is just, it stays in there, and it just kind of lingers around, and it's just not a nice feeling.
See, that's probably what it wanted, was that space to itself, isn't it?
Yeah,
And it's managed to kind of shun you out of that space now.
The time that I was living it, I felt like I was completely drained all the time. You know, I felt like it was just kind of sucking the energy from me, you know, to kind of gain its strength, I suppose, in a way. Like, so it was just best to be that nobody's in that area, to be honest.
Just leave it to do what it's got to do.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about the right. Say, for instance, that lady was hung in the tree. It makes you wonder, did she maybe curse the place before they hung her?
Well, you never know, Chris.
Yeah.
I've heard of these things happening.
Yeah, she could have cursed the land. She could have cursed the house if the house was there at that time. It's a possibility. You know, it's just something that we maybe will eventually find out. You know, it's you know, we can get, you know, people to maybe tune into her and kind of figure out who she is, what she wants, if she wants help, if she is somebody that maybe, you know, just was misunderstood. You know, because a lot of people would have been kind of, you know, classed as a witch, and a lot of people don't understand really kind of, you know, witches and kind of their intentions and stuff, like, so to say, like, it's not all bad.
Yeah, no, they always think the bad things, and it's really no like that for 90%. I know.
I'd just like to say thanks to Little Red for posting the link for Amazon.
You're welcome.
It's really good. It has a good book, guys. I really
book.
recommend it.
It's like one of the books, it's like the Lord of the Rings books. I go to the end and I'm like, this is getting so interesting. And I turned the last page and it went, the end. You know?
A lot of people have said that. A lot of people say they're left with more questions than they are answers. So yeah.
I mean,
so,
there's the question of the hellhound as well, the big black dog that was seen. I mean, there's all that as well. I mean, does that ever shown itself again?
A few years ago, there was a neighbour of mine did mention that she's seen a big black dog on the property. Her actual house looks down right on Sharon Rectory on the glebe, like, so. She did say she was outside one day and she noticed this large black dog running across the field, and she says she actually texted her husband, and she says you know, there's a really strange, weird animal that's kind of just running around by Sharon Rectory, and she said she's never seen it before. And we don't have any dogs. Like, I haven't had a dog in years, and when we did, there was no black dog we had. So that was kind of the recent kind of sighting of it. There was people too that says to me that they've you know, they've witnessed this black dog on the property before my parents even bought the house. There's people that says that they seen the dog whenever my parents were renovating the house. So as I say, like, it's my parents seeing it and me seeing it.
It's
There
been
has
seen by other people.
been seen a couple of times by other people, you know. So
It'd be good
Yes.
to see if we could maybe manage to line up like the sightings of the dog, the sightings of the lady, and maybe try and see if it's something happens round about that time, or something has happened back in history round about that time, you know. I'd be really interested to try and put it together as one story.
If you want,
Yeah, well, it's
I'll
just-
research.
Mm-hmm.
I was just going to say, if you
Kind of
want, I
piecing all
could
the bits.
research it and then send it to you.
Hi, Luna.
Yeah, that'd be really interesting because, as I say,
Yeah.
like we've done what we could in research, and there's not very much that we can kind of get a hold of within that timeline. Like, the only thing I could really get was the old maps, and it was able to
Yeah.
tell where the well was at, and there was actually 3 wells on the property. So that's there's one that's an existing well, like that's just the one that we know of and we've located, but there is 3 wells in total on the
I
property.
need to try and find the
So-
other two.
I
1,000
know
roads.
that one from the map now where the other one is in the lower part of the garden is it's like really overgrown and it's swampland. It's really dangerous. You
right.
can go down there with it, and you know the joust rods. It would be very dangerous.
Right,
As I say, like
stay away from
there's
that
a
one.
lot of you know, there
would
is
be-
a lot of parts of the property, you know, that you couldn't really walk because it's overgrown or you know
Right.
dangerous to kind of you don't know what's on the ground
mean,
that you
it's-
could you know.
Right.
I remember years ago there was holes in the field down below and you would just easily break your ankle, you know. So it's
God, you be careful
I
there.
wouldn't be brave enough going down.
See, that's the thing. See how you were saying how there might be like a little girl that fell down the well. It'd be good if you could hire a cadaver dog. You know what I'm talking. You ever heard of a cadaver dog?
Yeah. No, I
And
think she was more connected with the seller. It was a second
Right.
medium picked up on. There was actually it was a number of people actually picked up on the little girl that was buried behind the cellar wall. We do maybe think that maybe it could have been a possibility that there was tunnels that was maybe linking to the well at the time, or you know, connecting through there. So, but as I say, like them tunnels now, I don't know, you know, where the entrance is to get in from the other side, but it's bricked up and where the cellar is. So as I say, like it was only just really kind of people what was picking up and you know, just stuff that kind of unfolded over time for us, but I can't get any documentation if there was anybody ever, you know, buried behind the wall. You would need to knock it down and go through the tunnel, and that's something that we're not willing to do because
No.
it's a wall that was put up there for support too, you see. So if you're knocking into something in the cellar, it could end up caving in a certain room upstairs.
Ah,
you know,
you better
so,
just leaving it. Mhm.
It's,
you just say, like, if you open up that and there is something that's in there that we don't want to find, where do you go from there? You know,
Yeah.
so
Exactly. Mhm.
it's what you do in that situation.
I
There
don't know
sometimes
if,
are better left undiscovered.
Yeah.
I don't know if little Red can pick up in this, but see when you speak, I don't know what it is. I'm hearing like maybe a different voice.
I've got my headphones on the night.
Like I said, all I hear is chanting, and I don't
Still
know if
hear
it's-
it?
Yeah, like talking about well, I also have the pictures up, and like I said, it's the well, and there's bones there, but all they want me to hear is chanting. I don't know if I'm supposed to figure out what they're chanting about, but it's like I'm not even hearing anything else. It's just like chant. Like okay, what am I supposed to get out of this? So who knows? I'll sleep on it, and I'll wake up, and I'll figure it out. The spirits will let me figure it out.
See, it could be in Irish as well. It could be in the Irish language, Little Red, and you don't really know what it's saying because of that, you know, because it sounds like the Irish language.
It's kind of like Gaelic. It's
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I'll
It's
probably
weird
sleep
'cause
on it,
I
and I'll
just
figure it out.
Right.
See, there's Shelley. She thought she could hear somebody, like a wee girl thought could hear a kid, and I thought I could hear
I
like
actually
a
thought I heard
voice.
that too. I thought I heard a wee voice, kind of like a moan, come through my headphones
Aye.
here a few seconds ago, and
Right.
I was just for talking.
I've not
So
got my
it's weird.
headphones on the night
Shelley
too.
put that up. I know I'll need
It's
to
weird.
listen back and see.
Me
It could
too,
be
I'll be
that-
listening back.
Yeah,
We're
it could be
about
that
50,
picture.
about 50 minutes in.
Yeah, it could be that girl that we were talking about, the bonnet that was shot in the ear.
Could be,
Because
yeah.
you're talking about her, it's like, oh, they're talking about me. So it's usually when you give them attention, they'll start speaking out. Because they're like, oh, they know I'm here. if they're talking about them. So a lot of spirits do that. If they know that you acknowledge them and they know that you're talking about them, they're gonna try to speak back. So that makes sense if you're hearing a girl. Like I'm hearing chanting, so I couldn't even hear a girl. So but
try to block you out, Little Red. They're not wanting you to know what's going on. Try to block you out with chanting.
Well, I'm Irish, Scottish, and German, so the Irish part of me, that's probably why.
Oh, maybe
I got the attitude and all that, but yeah. So, like I said, with my dreams, I'll probably sleep on it. I'll dream it. Yeah.
That's weird. That I thought I heard a little girl speaking there.
You're giving her attention. That's why.
Just to watch it back and see if we can pick it up.
I thought for a second I heard hello, but it was awfully soft.
That's actually happened in the main house now. There was one investigation we did have, and everybody was all walking into the living room, the sitting room part that we have in the house, the main part of the house, and everybody heard it, and all we heard was, "Who are you?" A wee girl's voice, and it was the strangest thing to actually hear. It was really weird. And I actually says, "What did I come through on?" Because I thought it was one of them had one of their devices on, like the spirit box or something. But they were like, "We don't have anything on," and everybody heard it, so it was very vocal. So to say, like it could have been that child maybe that was curious and who these people were and who they were, why they were there. So it's.
Here, you want to laugh at my obelisk going? Can you see it?
I can see a blob.
Yeah, I see a blob. Yeah, I see
that was
weird. Look at my
What is it like you're showing there, Little Red?
My
obelisk.
Yeah, it's not real. It's on your phone. But
it's child.
Yep. Child. That's what I'm trying to. And now look at that heaven.
Heaven.
Oh, heaven.
Yeah, it's a light thing. I don't know if you can see it.
See, whenever my sister was younger too, she used to always talk about seeing a child too. My sister, when she was younger, she always talked about this little girl that she was seeing. So this could be all her.
There's definitely a second. There's definitely another voice there.
There is.
There we go.
Is the little girl needing crossed? What's that say?
Probably heaven.
Heaven.
Yeah, I can go to the list where it's saying. Yeah, there's an obelisk on the phone instead of buying the expensive ones. But I'll just zoom in on it. Of course, don't zoom in, But it says moving child heaven. I can't even get it to freaking recognize it. I didn't even dim down my light. I should just screenshot it.
I'll definitely listen this back through because there's definitely another voice in there.
There is. I could hear it. Only when Emma speaks.
Voice.
Is it only when I speak that you're hearing it?
It's like it's coming from your phone. So when your mic clicks on, then you can hear the other voice. The way Streamlabs works.
I don't like my kids. They'll be in bed now. They'll not even be, and my partner, he wouldn't be speaking. So, especially, he wouldn't be speaking in a girl's voice. So it's that's really weird that you're picking up another voice around me.
So, that's crazy, isn't it?
I can hear that again.
Would it be anything to do with
questions, guys? In chat, you want to ask anything?
Guys in the chat, do you want to ask anything, Emma or Little Red or me?
The obelisk just said homes.
Said what?
Homes. Homes. Homes.
Interesting. You've heard that about 3 times, Shell. There's definitely another voice there.
It's only when Emma speaks, which is weird.
Well, it's like when Emma's mic clicks on, isn't it?
I'll have to listen back and see if I can hear anything, but I definitely did hear a child's voice come through my mic now or my headphones, whenever that you were saying actually about it when Shelley was saying that she picked up on it.
Crazy. So all these wee things that you need to place together, but because if that wee girl spirit is maybe crying out for some help, then obviously we'll need to try and help the wee soul.
Well,
oh no, definitely.
Shelley said it was when Little Red spoke, but when See, this thing with spirits, they could be
Right.
anywhere at the same time.
See, they could be reaching out for Little Red to help her because they know Little Red's got abilities. Could be a number of different things.
Yeah, and one of my spirit guides is my son's twin that passed away. So
Right.
usually with little
Sharon's
kids, he likes to bring out the other kids. I was on vacation. I'm like, I can't go on vacation if the spirits bother me. Where's my son? He's like, what? But
Hello.
I was in Ocean City and I heard giggling. I'm like, my kids are asleep. It's like 2:00 in the morning, and it was a little girl coming out of a TV, and my son, the one that passed away, was playing with her. I'm like, really? Like
God.
I'm awake at that time, but I'm like, go play somewhere else. Stop giggling. so yeah, because I have a spirit child, it could be where she just trying to get him to come to me. So
Well, that's it, isn't it?
It's weird that, I mean, it's, I heard it again there.
I can't keep my headphones on when I'm live. It's too loud.
It was,
Don't like it.
that was a weird one because it sounded older, but it was awfully quick.
Right. I need
Uh-huh.
to listen to it back.
That's weird.
Definitely.
As I say, I wonder if it's the lady that Little Red was picking up on that's with me here. I wonder if maybe it could be her that's speaking.
Could be.
It makes you wonder if it is it your auntie. You said that it might be.
Yeah,
What was if
it could
she's
be.
here wanting
She
to
could be
help
just
that little
protecting
girl
me.
across?
It's possible. It's something maybe I can look into. In the meantime, there's definitely something that now that I know
Okay.
maybe if it's the case where
Hi,
there's Kate on now. Yeah, I'll talk with Kate now and maybe see what
See
we
if you
can
can figure it out.
what we can do
I
for
think she's
yeah.
maybe.
But it was
close, maybe.
interesting too when you mentioned the monk that you got a kind of jolt because
It was like a jolt because it was a jolt that kind of went through me. It was like in through my legs, but it felt like electric shock. If you get what I
Right.
mean, like it was something I haven't felt, before,
So
especially in
these wee
this
things,
room.
isn't it? It's just these wee things that you need to take note of and maybe try and figure out where that fits in.
Yeah, definitely.
Gaza jumped out his skin when Little Red's son came in. Did you get it right?
There's
yeah, I was
Luke
right.
Forbes
I said it's been an hour, and it's like they can only handle so much, and then they have to come in and be like, hi, like
Oh, my son's the same.
talk.
I have to run about making sure everybody's got what they need before I go live, or I get nothing but interruptions.
Well, since my my spirit, I call him Gavin. That's what his name would have been. Is they look at the twins, so it's kind of funny when he comes in. It's just like, oh, but yeah, they like to come in.
So does your son feel his twin round about him, Little Red? Do you think he's maybe more sensitive to him?
Oh yeah, like Gavin messes with him, and it's funny. He's like, "Can you take him with you?" Because my son's like, "I thought the electric went out because had the light on and the light bulb was unscrewed, and he thought the electric went out." And then he's like, "Can you just take him back?" I'm like, "No, he's fine. Leave him alone." Because like the Xbox, he'll turn the Xbox on and off, or whole new things. So it's just like. I'm like, you gotta think, if he was live, you two would be doing this anyway.
Exactly, that's cool, isn't it, really, when you think about it? Because they would be bantering back and forward, wouldn't they?
Little Red, can you share your YouTube channel in the chat?
Yeah.
I've got people asking about it. Please feel free, everybody, to share channels.
But my kids know about spirits, and they love to go on like investigations with me. And there's sometimes I'm like, no, I don't want you. Like I would have that feeling. There's one time I took my son, and it was a place that it used to be a haunted barn,
right?
And someone was killed, and we went there, and we were having things thrown at us. So I'm like,
see, my son comes out with me. Run. My son comes out with me until he's seen a spirit run right through Birkwood, and he's never been back out since. He's like, nope, because he did see a spirit run right through Birkwood.
Who's this? Cora Markin? What's this? What's he saying? It was the last public investigation on the Saints' Night in Sharon. I believe I saw the monk, pointed hood, and the nasty place Emma was talking about.
Right.
Yeah. That was a night to remember. That was one of the kind of things that we were like.
See, there'll be a few people in the village and things will have had experiences up there. Then Emma
of course, like it's really well known around the whole way around Donegal. It's not just just in this area.
I know, because NK Hauntings wants to go, didn't they? Jason and Kim want to go there for NK Hauntings. And when we had mentioned that we spoke to you, they were like, "Oh, do you? We want to go, weren't they, Chris?"
Yeah, we'll
have a
excite
word
it,
with
we'll
Emma.
excite it. But like, guys in the chat, could you please click on Little Red's channel? Get her up to 1,000 subscribers. It's probably going to take me another 100 years to get there, but get there.
Oh, I keep going to
It's
620.
not all paranormal. It's not all paranormal. There's concerts, there's theme parks, because of course I'm a family mom, so there's just all different things. So,
Eileen was scared that day, Shell, wasn't he? He was really scared that day.
See your candle flickering away there in the background.
oh, she's
And
just
I don't know if you noticed,
that
but see
same
the crystal
candle,
ball.
too.
The crystal
I
ball
always
before
feel
we.
so bad when we're live with anybody, and then we're like, right, bye, and they've got all this activity left in their home. We're like, oh.
I've just noticed before we became live, the crystal ball behind Emma had like a face in it, and now it doesn't have anything in it.
Right.
Well, there's something there actually.
Mhm.
Can you still see it? Little Red, can you see anything?
Oh yeah, it's like I said, it's half face. Like I said, if you have a circle, and it's on the left side of it, so I'm trying to figure this out right here. So if it's on the left side, so it'd be like okay over here. So it's like kind of like
It was reflecting maybe something from the candles, maybe.
No, it's not reflecting because it was like this,
Something.
and then it
There's
slowly
something
goes like
moving
this.
about. I can see it.
Wow.
And do you have an animal?
With cats,
I was
With
just an
cats.
animal.
like a spirit animal that's around, or because we've plenty of them.
It said animal and living, so it's your living animals. The little girl's playing with your.
Oh yeah, no, it's
cat.
it's a funny story actually about animals. We've had a number of dogs, and we've had actually horses that was on the property, and even went as far as a rabbit escaped from my cage outside, and it seems like something always freaks them out. The horses used to always break out whenever my uncle actually used to keep the horses on the
That's
property,
what I
and
see.
all the horses used to break out, and the dogs used to run away. We only ever had one dog that would have stayed on the property. Even at that, it was a struggle to kind of keep her kind of in one area. But they just seemed to be spooked on the property, and it was the funniest thing was the rabbit. Whenever the rabbit broke out, I thought a fox got it. I thought it's a goner. Like 2 weeks later, it landed back on the front door, and it was looking in the window at me one day. And I was like, "You can't make this up." But it was really strange, how it's only really been cats that's ever stayed on the property, and they often do say that cats kind of are there whenever you need them. Do you know what it's like? As I say,
No,
like whenever you've got a kind of a negative haunting, they always say that they kind of absorb negativity. So it could be a reason why it's something's attracting them around here. But there's a lot of even stray cats that come around, and they just stay. I've only got one cat now myself. That's my cat, and that's tame, but the rest of them are all wild.
Is cats not meant to be a spiritual sign or something?
Yes.
They are,
can't
they're supposed to be protectors, kind of with negative spirits and stuff. I was reading before now that they're there to kind of protect whenever there's negative around, or they kind of absorb that kind of negativity. So it's to say, like, something could be attracting them around here. So it's
Yep. Definitely.
So like I said, the little girl that's there is probably playing with the cat. So.
it's playing with the cat.
So if your cat kind of looks weird, like playing by itself or something, like, what is that cat do? It's just the spirit playing. And you gotta think, if the witch trial and the hanging, witches always had cats around, but you can go all the way back if you want to go spirit-wise. Yeah, spirit-wise, you can always go all the way back to the Egyptian.
Yes.
The cats were sacred.
Aye, because they do not bury them with their dead in the tombs and stuff like that. I mean,
I'm trying to think
yeah,
if
that's right.
I was talking about the
hear
hairless
that
cat
voice
before. Sphinx. There we go. Sphinx.
aye.
Sphinx.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird because every time I hear that voice, the candle flickers.
Well, the lady's
There's no
right there.
flickering now.
That
There's no
lady's just
flickering
kind
now.
of
It's not even
standing
moving. And
lady's looking right at you, too.
that's weird.
And there's Emma's channel up now. Shell.
I've stuck up Emma's channel today. Please
I
go
can't-
and give us a
And I
subscribe.
try and keep I try and keep as up to date on Facebook as I can too. As I say, like I'm a working mum of two, so it's really hard to try and get on social media as often as I should be on social media. But it's to say, like, I try and put up any updates or any kind of things that happen in the house on the Facebook page mainly, and the Instagram. And I've recently started on TikTok, so I'll do like little videos and stuff then for people then on TikTok and also. If anybody has any questions or anything, that they can drop me a comment
Have
and
you
I can
not got
try and answer as
what's your
many as I can.
What's your Facebook? Is it Sharon Rectory?
Yeah, just Sharon Rectory, Donegal, Ireland.
Sharon.
That's Sharon Rectory,
That's
Donegal,
it.
Ireland on Facebook.
I'll put all the links up.
So you can go on there, and that's kind of like my main kind of platform for my for updates and things. So as I say, like, I'll try and get as much as I can up on the YouTube channel too in the next few weeks. I do have a few something lined up from other people's experiences that I'm actually going to upload now. Their videos of their talking about their experiences in Sharon Rectory. I'll do that over the coming month, and I'll just start to do it weekly then, just wee updates of just other people's encounters, so it's something fresh to bring to people rather than just me talking about it or my sister talking about it all the time, so it's just kind of giving that kind of I suppose just their kind of fresh outlook, kind of their outlook of Sharon Rectory and what they've experienced, so that you can keep an eye out for that. I'll be putting that up.
Did you hear that voice there?
No, I have to watch it back because I can't. I'm because I'm talking, I'm missing it.
Now you can't hear it.
It went. Oh, your face went. Did you see that little red? Her face went blurry, and then there was a voice.
I'll have to check it out. Yeah. I need to take note on the time so I can actually look back and see.
It'll be 1:08 or 1:07, 1 hour 7 probably, and then watch it to there until it gets to 1 hour 10.
Yeah,
that was weird. That, by the way, because your face just went like as if there was smoke went past it, and then you went pixelated as if the internet was all wonky. But it was,
that's
and
strange.
then I heard that. Did anybody else in the chat?
Do you know what it is?
I'm trying to get links. I never noticed.
We get so used to the activity around here, at the end of we just get up and get on with it. We don't really kind of stop and kind of.
That's the thing, when you're trying to document it, you'll probably not notice it because you're too used to it.
Sometimes, especially my mum is one person that, like, I would be saying to her, did you not know? Victoria says she experienced something, and I'm like, Mum, did you not hear it at the time? Mum's like, I'm not busy, I don't even take it on. She just gets up and gets on with it. So it's very.
She's too used to
it. Only just whenever it's only whenever it's really big things. For example, a couple of weeks ago, I wrote it up on my Facebook. The last day, whenever Victoria and my mum were in the kitchen, it was a Saturday evening. It was about 7:30. They heard a really big loud bang in the main part of the house. And my mum was like, I wonder what that is. Like, she knew something had fell or broke, and she kind of better go up and check just to see what it is. And when she went up into the main reception hallway, didn't see anything, on the ground or anything had fell. So she walked over then to the main staircase, and that seems to be where there's a lot of activity picked up, is in the main staircase. And when she looked, she seen that the mirror had fell off the wall, and it was the mirrors kind of go up the wall as they're going up the stairs. And this was a mirror that was kind of a few mirrors up, and it had came off the wall and fell to, slid down the stairs obviously, and fell face up the way at the bottom of the stairs. And when she went up to examine the nail was still on the wall, and she couldn't figure out how it came off because the nail was kind of put in at a slant. So it would have to have been something that actually flipped it from the bottom to kind of put off the nail and actually, to kind of lift it up. So it was like something had kind of, the way she described it, was like something must have been moving past it and actually had it up the way to kind of knock it off the wall. And anytime we've ever had that kind of activity in the past where there's been that time that it happened in the past would have been, pictures fell off the wall, and it would have been a few feet out from the wall. The way there was never really anything, we could just.
Nothing ever really like a nail slide or anything. Everything was always dramatically off the wall.
Yeah, it was dramatic. It was like a dramatic, thing that happened.
Wanted to make sure that you knew that it wasn't just fell off a wall.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I see Kate's hearing other voices too.
There is a man spirit at Chrissy's Shrimp I don't know if Robert's been around much these days. Have you
Oh,
felt
he's here
Robert
now.
around much?
Oh, he's there the now. He's
Is he
there the
there?
now. Aye. He's always here.
He's always
Only when I
there.
do live streams. Aye.
He likes to see everybody.
There you go. Whatever.
There's been several other voices coming over as yous have been talking, Kate says. Need to go back over it, Kate, I think, and see what
I'll
we
have
can
to
all
go back
hear.
over and listen, because whenever I'm talking, I can't hear it. It was only just that one time that I heard it.
It's only when you
I
speak.
shall go, Chris, go and pop Emma's channel back up, please.
Just a sec. So I could hear whispering again there. Right, there's Emma's channel
Definitely.
up.
Sunshine's saying that she can definitely hear voices as well. We'll definitely
That's
go back
strange. I'll
over
have
it,
to go
guys,
back
and we'll
over.
see what
Yeah.
we can hear. If I hear anything, I'll put them in the comments, what I hear, right? So you can have a wee nosy back.
Yeah, go at the time.
It's again.
That's really weird. I don't
laugh,
know. Is it? Wouldn't be my voice echoing or anything? Would it? Maybe not.
You know, it's no Little Red because her mic's muted.
It's definitely, when I heard it, it
From
was
my
definitely like a wee girl's voice, Emma. It was definitely a younger voice.
It's like
I'll
when you
have to
walk
check
past
out.
it's like when you walk past a swing park and you can hear the kids giggling.
Oh, that's exactly what it sounded like, Chris, like the
I've got
kid
no kids in my
echoes.
house. I've got no kids in my house. None.
That's exactly what it sounded like, the swing park. I've stayed in a swing park.
It's like the echo
That's what
coming
it
off.
sounds like that distant wee voice.
Well,
You with kids.
My kids are in bed now. It's 10 to 11, so they'll be fast asleep. They'll not even be. So there's definitely something
It's again.
something weird.
It's only when you speak. It's as if it's giggling.
See, they
It's
maybe
giggling
like the
to
fact
me.
that there's attention on them.
See,
Especially
I
if
think
it's a
that's
wee
mainly
girl.
what it is. Yeah, I think that's mainly what it is now. I do think that whenever that sometimes they do crave attention, and this is the reason why that things happen around Sharon. Do you know it's
I mean, think about it. When you die and you've been dead for so many years, say you've been dead for 50 years, and then somebody all of a sudden goes live or something and starts talking about you, you're going to be intrigued, aren't you, to see what they're
you're
going to
telling
say.
their story.
Exactly.
You're telling their story. Like, I'm here. I'm kind of, tell
I'm
it
here.
this way.
I want to tell my story. It's really nice. I think it's really fascinating. I do.
That is weird. That.
Speak to us then. Do we know the wee girl's voice? Know her name?
Yeah, I'm just seeing. I'm seeing the comments
Try and
now. A lot of
speak
people
to us
actually saying
then.
they're hearing it.
Try and talk to us. Tell us your name.
It's like an echo. I feel like it's like if you're doing a long haul and they say there's a kid, say away at the bottom of the hall, and they like say hiya, and it's like an echo coming. That's what it's like.
Well, think about it. They are kind of distant for others standing probably beside Emma. They are in a distant realm type of thing, so it makes sense. It was kind of distant, if you get what I mean. Close but distant.
Did you hear
Past the piano, Kate.
Really?
Did you not hear that? Did you not hear that there? It says yes.
I'll listen to it after my.
I have to listen to it
was,
back.
It was like ha ha ha.
Was it?
Aye.
Really?
And then when Drew says, "Oh, it's like you're in a different realm," it went like, "Yeah."
Right.
I have to listen to it back now and see if I'm intrigued now.
That's weird.
See, for me too, because I have the headphones in my ear, so if I was to take them out, I maybe might be able to hear something, but not
Maybe,
whenever I can't really hear very much whenever I have them in.
You see that Wi-Fi?
I'm not used to it now, so it's not really. It doesn't really bother me. I'll definitely.
The Wi-Fi connection gives them like a certain energy, because we've been on a few lives and voices have came through, especially like the one I heard on Lunar's live one night was as clear as somebody speaking. It was tell such and such I'm sorry, and I was like, nobody's here, but I was the only one still with my earphones on. Everybody else was doing different things. I was like, did you hear that? I don't know if Lunar's still in chat or no. And they're like, no. And I was like, go back about 3 minutes or something, and they went back, and as clear as day, you could hear a man say, tell such and such I'm sorry. So I think that Wi-Fi live connection gives them like a wee boost of energy or something.
Yeah, It's as you say too. It's like when you're talking about them too, you're kind of giving them that bit of attention, so
Yeah.
they're trying to communicate. So it's definitely interesting that a lot of people that's even
Well,
picking up
I
on the
hatch you. It's like the acoustic records.
yeah.
Well, everybody's
Interesting.
trying to hear. They don't know what to speak.
I
They
don't
just
know why
want
I'm
to try
getting
and hear
closer.
for voices.
I don't know why I'm getting closer to my iPad. I've got my earphones on.
What, get into Emma's house?
It's weird. It's only now and again. It's only really when Emma speaks.
Yeah. No, well, like I don't feel anything. It's actually the room's a bit colder. That's kind of the only really thing that's the temperature's kind of dropped a bit, but it's nothing like as I don't feel scared. I don't feel, I don't feel anything bad around me at the
I
minute.
think it's just
so
because we've been speaking about her that she's came to see what we've been saying and maybe give her two
Yeah.
pence worth in.
yeah.
Don't
I
worry, we'll
I,
hear
I,
it when we play it back.
yeah, no,
No
I'll
doubt.
have to listen back now in a little while and see then what I hear.
I
Can
know.
you still hear it, Little Red? Can you hear that? Are you
I
still
think
hearing
she's
the chanting?
concentrating to try and hear something.
Well, like she was talking, that's what I said. I'm like, I hear a ha ha ha. And I don't know if that woman, like, I'm trying to think of it's your family. Like, that's another thing. Like, she's watching you. So it's almost like, you know, how children and parents, and she could be just watching the child, like, play with you. And she'd be like, okay, calm down. You know, it's like that mother thing. And I think, like I said, with me being a parent, I don't know if you guys are parents. The child would feel comfortable to come out and let you guys see him. Because, like I said, sometimes paranormal, they don't want to be seen. They'll just, like, hide. Like, I've done this experience. So.
Get you.
And like us giving the attention,
Sparkle,
talking
lie down.
about it, they're coming out. Like I said, if you ever any paranormal, they don't come around to you like say something like how paranormal people like, oh well, this person was here and they're in the place and talking about it. Then they slowly come out because now they're like you can talk to me, and they just slowly come out like, oh, I gotta tell them something. They gotta know I'm here, and so.
Right.
The little child's like, oh, she knows I'm here. They're all talking about me, and this girl up there knows she can see things. So that's another reason why
So you might get a visit tonight, Little Red, as well. You might get a wee bit girl spirit in your home tonight.
I have to
Maybe.
tell
Do you know what guys? What I'm just
thinking
thinking about here? It's really strange. It just popped into my head. Do you remember the guy we were talking about, the wise man?
Yes.
I actually
No.
I seen a man at the bottom of my bed one night. I woke up, I felt my foot. This was twice I seen him actually. And I'm just thinking now, it actually looked like him. So I don't know maybe if he actually was him. And whenever I talked to Kate about it, Kate did reckon that he was a relation of mine, a past relation. And that was really weird actually. It just clicked to me because I actually got up the next day and I drew a picture of him and he had a big beard. That was one thing I remembered. We had a big
see,
beard
that's
and he
where
had
your
like deep
spirit could be there.
dark circles. But I didn't feel like he was negative, but he scared me. Do you know, he was standing at the bottom of my bed. I remember waking up my partner and I was like,
Just
do you
the
not see me standing
circumstances then.
yeah, and he was convinced that there was somebody in the house, that there was somebody had broke in because he was that solid to me that I seen him. And I was like, he's there, do you not see him? He's there. And he turned on the light and he disappeared. And that happened twice. Do you know, the first time I felt my something touching my foot. And when I woke up and looked down, he was there, but he was there for a split second. And then the second time then he was there kind of a bit longer. And I actually wrote about it on the Facebook page. If you go back, maybe I think it might have been January time, maybe December time. If you go back, I actually wrote about it. But whenever it just came into my head there, I don't know if it was maybe him, maybe give me a sign to say that was me. But I do think that the wise man, the picture of that wise man, it was. I'll actually put it up on my Facebook later on, and I'll show you, or I've sent you the picture together. Do you see what you think of the picture that I drew to that picture? So that's really interesting. It just came into my head.
Could be, and that could be him just coming through to let you know that it is him. You know what I mean? A wee bit of reassurance that it's no anything bad.
While Emma was telling us about the wise man, see the mirror, the candles stopped flickering. It looked like somebody had paused time, and it would out of focus.
Just to give you a bit of acknowledgement.
It would totally out of focus on that mirror side. Did you see that Little Red? Did you see the mirror? It just went out of focus totally. And the candles were like, as if somebody took a photo. That's what it was like. It was like, if it was like frozen time. And then when you finished, the candles, that's amazing.
That's weird.
That is amazing.
Definitely.
That is, it's Did you see that, Little Red?
So it's funny. Did you see me like going like this? Like, is there a kid in here? Because they kept on like a kid. Now I'm hearing the kid and not the change. I thought it was my daughter. And there's no one in here. Now she comes.
Right.
But and I was like, is it my daughter? No, there's my daughter. Over here, Lux. I'm gonna say hi. Hi.
Yeah.
Hello. What's your name?
Her name's Alexa. I got headphones so she can hear you. Her name's Alexis.
Hello.
They said
Yeah.
hello. Hi.
We all get funny accents. Do we all talk funny?
Yeah.
Hello,
that's
do we
so-
talk funny to you?
No.
No.
See the-
I love the way you all talk. What's your name?
Alexis.
Alex, so that's a nice name. What age are you? What age are you?
No.
9. So you's back at school?
Yep.
Yep, all good stuff. Yous are all back. Other kids are just going back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Be good to get back to school though, isn't it? Good to see your friends. Good, good. Good stuff. Was your friends missing you?
Nope.
Nope. Oh well. Tell them they can't be your friends then if they weren't missing you.
that's-
Do you like what your mum does?
Yeah.
Yeah, is it interesting?
No.
Yeah. Have you ever seen anything when you've been out ghost hunting with her?
I don't know.
No. Maybe when you're a wee bit older you'll start to see
Maybe when you're
things.
older.
Yep.
You see all the people in the chat? There's 23 people all from around the world.
Yep. He's all saying hello to Alexis, guys.
Everybody in the chat say hello to her.
Say hi to Alexis.
Hi, Alexis!
Hi.
Hiya. And then the dog's saying hello to you.
I see the...
What's that?
Again,
There's
this has got
Sparkle
to
saying
Because your
hello.
god's starting barking. Take her out.
It's going all kind of weird
It's
again
because of
behind
that
you, Emma.
tablet.
I think... Do you ken
No,
what I
just
think
You
it
know,
is?
them candles is as calm now. There's no flickering
They've
whatsoever.
went a lot calmer for you recognised that was maybe your uncle.
There's
For the minute you
There's
said it
no-
might be your uncle, they've went a lot
No,
calmer.
I think it was her auntie. Was it your auntie, Emma?
Yeah, but the man that I seen with the big beard, the wise man. Now
Yeah.
Kate picked up that he could have been an ancestor. He was like a far out relation of mine, you know. So
Can you
I
tell
said
us
it could be
hi?
all connected. He could be the person that's around me. See, these could be all people that's to protect her, you know, spirit protectors around me.
They were all saying
I don't
hello
know.
to her. Little Red, they were all saying hello to Alexis.
I was just going to say to you, Little Red, see how you've got the candles. You notice there's zero movement on them now.
Mhm.
But
Yeah,
it keeps
they're
going
about the
out,
time.
focusing
No
and
movement whatsoever.
unfocusing. See
Well,
the
like I
camera?
said, when she first popped in, and it was like the woman was right there because, like I said, it's protecting. If you don't, they don't know if you're going to go into a stream that has so much negative energy. She's there to pop in, and then the little girl, so she's comfortable with all of us. She'll pop in and out. So, like I
Right.
said, I can see a little bit of her, but it's not like full where I can fully see her. Where I was like, oh, she got brown hair. It's just off. So,
Right.
Before I
So
end
would
the
she be
live,
oh, sorry, Chris, I was just going to ask if she would
no,
be
you go, no, I'll say it.
related to the man.
see, that's what I can't pick up. Like, some of them they won't tell. Like, some of them I can feel. But if you feel like it's a family member, she's always around. You know, the woman would probably talk to you and give you signs more than giving us signs because that woman has no clue who we are. We're like little strangers.
I might actually ask her tonight, actually, before I go to bed, maybe to give me a sign, even in a dream or whatever, if it is a relation, if it is the person who I think it is, if it's my aunt.
Right.
It would be nice to kind of get that kind of, you know,
It
just really
ticks
sign
another
that it is
box,
her.
Emma, doesn't it? That's who
Look,
this is.
I don't believe that it's she's probably just somebody that's here that's just protecting me around whatever is in the house. You know, I don't think she's stuck here. You know, she's probably just a family member that's just protecting me. So.
Making sure that she protects you, as Little Red said. Curious to see who it's sharing your energy with.
It's actually quite weird because see where the candles are. It's like the camera's focusing on something in that corner. Because it's no focusing on your vase, it's focusing on the candles. And there's something
the
keeps
side
going
here,
in front
yeah.
of that.
I get what you
Yeah.
mean. It's as
So
if
it's like,
it
for me,
keeps
it's
kind of
it's over
focusing
here.
onto that part.
I have
Yeah,
to
it's clear.
I have to
It's-
keep watching it and see now.
Well,
if
candles is
if I
going
can-
to be your communication then, Emma. I'm
Yeah.
taking it for that. That this is the way the
It's
spirits
funny
have got to
because
try and communicate with you is through candles.
yeah, it's funny because with my zodiac sign too, it's Sagittarius, so that's the element fire. So that's probably a
Right.
way that I could maybe that they can communicate through me is through candles and maybe the flicker
Definitely.
of the flame. So
What? It's not there.
Yeah, for sure. Really
Sorry.
interesting.
I forgot to put
It's-
it.
It's like Drew too. I mean, there's a spirit with Drew. You know.
Is there?
Yeah,
How
but
do you know?
you have a shadow in front of the curtain. So.
Who? No.
Drew's not gonna be sleeping all night.
You're in my window. Chap, chap,
That's
chap.
alright. Nosy. It's just. I think it's just spirits, and I think they're just nosy.
I do think my
They want to
cousin
see.
Stephen's around me, but I do feel every time that I try and think if there's something about me, sometimes I'll get like a, and I think that's a spirit. And the
Yeah.
only person that ever comes into my head is my cousin Stephen. At that time when I feel like that, how when you see a spirit or a spirit's round you, kind of like a wee bit of your breath gets
Yeah.
drew back, and there's a spirit near you. That's the only person that ever comes into my head when that happens is my cousin. So I take it that it's him that's round me a lot.
I think little Red's away. What's that there in the chat? Got to give daughter flavour water. I've set on it. Listen.
Oh, my family's the same. Honestly, I have to get them all warned. Right, I'm going live. I don't want to see yous. I don't want to hear yous.
Here yous.
Leave me alone.
There you go. It's been a
Bronte
really
candles,
good.
Scottish Outlook, Caraha. That's a common way for a lot of the
What's that?
spirits to try and communicate is through the candles.
It's been a really good night tonight, hasn't it? And
yeah, no,
I'm
it's a good
looking
chat.
forward.
Really good.
I'm looking forward to your new book.
Oh, 3
No,
years
right,
down
man,
the
just for
line.
me.
Down the line. I know, down
Mhm.
the line. Well, no, definitely. As I say, like it's. I'm currently in the book. Do you know what I mean? Currently,
Exactly, you're
this is
loving
happening,
it.
so I'm living it
Creating
now.
it.
So whatever happens will be all in the book. And whenever usually whenever I'm putting the book together, is how I put my first book together. Is you manage to piece the puzzle together. Do you know from the 23 years I've lived, or the 22 years, the time I actually published the book, it was 22 years. Within that 22 years, the book made sense because we were able to kind of, join the dots along the way. So
Right,
I'm just going to try and follow on with that in this book. So hopefully maybe this book I might be able to kind of like maybe give a bit of like a resolution in it where we can deal with it, the negative that's in the house, and maybe end the book in that sense of like a positive kind of uplifting light rather than
Definitely.
kind of the negative light that the
Find
first
out
book
who
had ended in.
some of the other spirits are as well that's round about you, Emma,
Exactly.
because that's really
Exactly.
interesting that the candles and that stop flickering for the minute we mentioned your uncle and your aunt. So that's curious.
Yeah, I think that was this was meant to happen tonight. I think this show.
Yeah.
I think this has been planned for the beginning, and
They
we're
just
no
want to
flickering
communicate.
whatsoever now.
And I'll put in the comments, I'll go through this. I'll take probably about 2 or 3 hours to go through it all the time. I rewind and things, and I'll try and figure out what the voices are saying. I'll put it on the
I've been
desktop.
trying and maybe enhance the voices in some kind of way, maybe, and see if there's anything maybe that's significant that's come through. Maybe that's
I'll
maybe going to
definitely
even
run
in
it through the.
something. Do you know what it
I'll
is?
slow
It's
it down.
something to kind of it's something for
Yeah,
us to kind
because
of.
there was definitely a wee girl's voice there, and I'm just curious to see if it has maybe been the wee girl that keeps appearing.
I don't know. It was. I know there's good spirits round about Emma now, but it was.
We
I
just
heard
have
a
to
male's
try and
voice.
focus on the good spirits and not give the
Aye.
negative spirits any recognition. Keep
Yeah.
focusing on the good ones. We'll try and keep figuring out who they are, what relationship they've got to Shannon, and we'll figure out the bad spirit when we get a chance to get down there.
So, before we go off, Emma, would you like to tell them again where they can buy your book and where all your contact details or whatever kind of channels and
Yeah,
such.
that's no problem. So the book is called The Haunting of Sharon Rectory, and it is on Amazon and Kindle. You can also look up on Facebook, the Sharon Rectory Donegal Ireland, and Instagram, TikTok, but as again Sharon Rectory Ireland. So you can just send me messages if you want to ask me any questions, or I'll try and get back to you. I'm usually not as active these days as what I would kind of hope to be, but no, I will get back to you whenever I get a chance.
Yeah,
So
you're
as I
just
say,
a
like, any
busy one,
questions or
guys.
any wee updates, I will let you all know.
Okay,
Well,
great stuff.
thank you everybody for coming to the live. Listen, I'll talk to you guys after the end of the show. Emma, well, Red, Drew, I'll
No
talk
problem.
to you after the end
No
of this.
bother.
After party.
This is when we all start getting the drink out.
I've got my bar shandy, you know. But I'll catch you all later, guys. Thanks for coming, and remember, please check out the channels and buy a book. You know.
And I'm live tomorrow night, guys, for a haunted Scottish story. So come along.
Do you want me to dress up? I put a sheet on my head and do it.
You can put your orange wig on with a wee Scottish cap.
God knows what that is.
your old
Catch you later,
McDonald.
guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye for now.
Bye.